Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a little different.
A little bit of time travel.
Exactly. We're jumping into a time machine, well, a hypothetical one, and we are setting the dial for February 2026.
Right?
And we're looking at an event that, on the surface seems incredibly familiar to anyone who knows anything about global culture. We're talking about Chinese New Year.
But, and this is a huge but, if you are picturing the standard, stock footage of dumplings, firecrackers, and people sitting around a round table watching some variety show on TV.
Yeah, the classic image.
You need to wipe that image from your mind, or at least push it to the side, because what we're looking at today is how this massive ancient tradition is colliding head-on with the specific tech and social realities of 2026.
Exactly. We've got this stack of sources here that, they paint a picture of a holiday that is evolving in real time.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of this stuff, it feels like sci-fi. And some of it feels like, like a history lesson brought to life.
It's a fascinating mix. And the catalyst for all of this, the thing that really kicks off this specific deep dive, is the calendar itself.
Right. I was reading the notes on that, and apparently 2026 isn't just another year. It's being branded as the longest Chinese New Year.
That's the headline, yeah. The lunar calendar has aligned in a way that extends the holiday duration pretty significantly.
Right.
And that might sound like a small logistical detail, but it actually changes everything. When you have a standard week off, you do standard things, you go home, you eat, you come back.
Sure. The usual routine.
But when you have this extended period, the longest holiday, it just opens up the floodgates for completely new behaviors. It changes the economics of it, the travel patterns, and even sort of the psychology of how people approach the whole thing.
Because when you have more time, you have more options. And that is our mission today. We're going to unpack the top 4 coolest ways people are celebrating this specific year. We're going to cover everything from AI that fights your family battles for you, to cyber spirituality, to trips to the absolute edge of the world.
It is a wild mix. But what I love about this stack of sources is that, beneath all the shiny new tech and the crazy travel plans, the core human questions are exactly the same as they were 500 years ago.
Right.
How do we connect with the people we love? How do we find some peace? And how do we honor where we come from?
The questions are the same, but the answers are becoming unrecognizable. So let's dive into the first trend, which I honestly think is the most mind-bending.
Okay.
The sources are calling it the Cyber Lunar New Year.
This is a massive shift. It's primarily driven by Gen Z, but you can see it's bleeding into older generations too. It represents a fundamental change in where the celebration actually takes place.
Oh, not in the home.
It's moving from the physical living room to the digital space.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the first thing that jumped out at me, and I had to read this twice, was this concept of digital spirituality. Specifically, the phrase burning electronic incense.
Yes.
Now, hold on. Traditionally, incense is visceral, right? It's about the smell, the smoke curling up, the whole atmosphere, the ash falling on the table. How do you burn electronic incense?
It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like, but the context is what really matters. You have an app on your phone.
Okay.
You open it up, you tap a button, and you see this, high definition digital rendering of a stick of incense just burning down.
Okay, but why? Is it just a visual gag? A novelty?
Not at all. And it's paired with another trend that the sources mention, the electronic wooden fish.
The wooden fish, that's the percussion instrument Buddhist monks use, right? The hollow wood or block they strike when they're chanting, that talk, talk, talk sound.
Precisely. But in 2026, you aren't hiking up a mountain to a temple to hear it.
You're tapping your screen.
You're tapping your screen.
So explain this to me. Is this just a game, like Cookie Clicker, but for Buddhism?
It's actually shockingly similar to that, and that's the genius of it. In the source notes, there's a concept here that we really need to understand. It's called cyber merit, or Saibo Gong Day.
Saibo Gong Day.
Yeah.
Cyber merit. Okay, break that down for us.
So in traditional Buddhism, you accumulate merit, good karma through prayer, chanting, or doing good deeds.
Right.
Gen Z has essentially gamified this process. You tap the screen, the digital wooden fish makes that satisfying talk, talk, talk sound, and a little bit of text pops up saying merit +1.
Merit +1, like an RPG. Right. Experience +1.
Exactly. It's ironic, but it's also sincere in a way. You have this generation that is overworked, burnt out, dealing with what they call nawan or involution, this intense spiraling competition. They feel like they have no control over their material reality. So tapping this fish is a way to kind of hack the universe. It's saying, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, let me just farm some quick karma on my commute to calm down.
That is fascinating. It's like spiritual pragmatism.
Oh.
Or maybe spiritual sarcasm.
It's both. It's absolutely both. And that's the defining vibe of the 2026 Lunar New Year. It's this mix of, I respect the tradition and I need to make this work for my modern digital brain.
Right.
And the source specifically notes that this is used for relaxation. It's a coping mechanism for all the noise of the modern world.
It makes sense. It's kind of like a fidget spinner for your soul.
That's a great way to put it.
But if we're talking about coping mechanisms, we have to talk about the AI aspect.
Yeah.
Because this is where it gets, well, I want to say dark, but maybe genius is the better word.
You were talking about the AI assistant.
Yes. The source has mentioned using an AI friend to handle family pressure. I have to be honest, reading about this, it depressed me a little.
Why? Because it's impersonal.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't the whole point of the New Year connection?
Yeah.
If I'm using an AI to generate a script to talk to my auntie, am I actually connecting? Or am I just managing a PR crisis?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
But let's look at the reality of the Chinese New Year interrogation. You've seen the memes, right? It's a universal experience.
Oh, absolutely. When are you getting married? How much was your bonus? Why are you so fat? Why are you so skinny? Why did you break up with that nice boy?
Exactly. It's combat. It is emotional combat.
It really is.
And the sources suggest that for many young people, they aren't using AI to replace love. They're using it as a shield. They use AI models to simulate these battles before they even happen.
Wait. They simulate the argument before they go home? Like a flight simulator for awkward dinners?
Yes, that's exactly it. They'll prompt the AI with something like, role play as my conservative aunt who thinks 28 is too old to be single. Give me polite but firm shutdowns that won't cause a scene.
No way. That's incredible.
It's essentially emotional dojo training. So when they actually sit down at that dinner table and the question comes, why aren't you married yet? They aren't triggered. They have the script. They survived the dinner so they can actually enjoy the tea later.
Okay, when you frame it like that as emotional armor, I get it. It's survival mode.
And it goes beyond just defense. It's also about automation. Think about the sheer labor of sending New Year messages.
Oh, the mass texting, Happy New Year, wishing you prosperity, copy, paste, sent to 200 people. It's a chore.
Right. It's tedious. And if you make a mistake or if it feels too generic, people get offended.
Yeah.
Now, AI generates personalized messages for you. It scans your relationship context and drafts something unique for your boss, your grandma, and your best friend.
So on one hand, we have electronic incense for spiritual peace, and on the other, we have AI bots handling our social diplomacy.
Which raises a really interesting question about authenticity. If an AI writes your New Year greeting, does it count?
Right.
But from the perspective of the user, it frees them up to actually enjoy the holiday rather than feeling like they're working a second job as a communications director.
That is a very charitable way to look at it. But let's stick with this digital theme for a second, because we need to look at the new gifting economy. The sources make a really clear distinction between the old and the new.
Right. The old is what you'd expect. Tea, candy, alcohol, maybe a nice box of fruit, physical consumables.
Tangible goods. Things you carry to someone's house.
Exactly.
Virtual assets, game skins, video memberships, digital artwork.
Game skins. So instead of bringing a box of expensive tea to my cousin, I'm buying him a new outfit for his character in a video game.
Precisely. And I think for a lot of listeners, that might sound shallow or maybe lazy.
It feels a little intangible. Like, here you go, here's some code.
But think about it from the recipient's perspective. If you give a Gen Z gamer a box of tea, what happens to it?
Sits in the cupboard.
It sits in the cupboard.
Yeah.
But a game skin, that is something they use every single day. It's part of their digital identity.
So what does this all mean then? What's the takeaway?
It means the concept of value is shifting. We are moving from physical consumables to digital experiences. By giving a game skin, you are saying, I see you, I know what you care about, I understand the world you live in. That's a great point. It's actually a more thoughtful gift if you know they play that specific game.
Yeah.
It's more personal.
Exactly. It feels impersonal to an older generation, but to a digital native, it's highly personal. It carries social currency.
Okay, so that's the Cyber New Year. We've got the digital incense, the AI bodyguards, and the virtual gifts. But the pendulum always swings back, right?
Always.
Because the second trend in our stack is almost the exact opposite. It's visceral, it's loud, and it's very, very real. It's called heritage immersion.
This is the counter movement. And I think this is crucial to understand. This isn't separate from the digital trend. It's a reaction to it. While some are going digital, others, or maybe even the same people, are craving something they can touch and feel.
Right.
The key word here is participation versus observation.
All right. The source mentions a shift away from just passively watching the TV galas.
For decades, that was the standard. Sit on the couch, eat sunflower seeds, watch the big spring festival gala on CCTV. It was a spectator sport. Now people want to be in the action. They want to be part of the scene.
And the specific examples here are wild. Let's talk about Guangdong, specifically the Kaizu area. The notes mention the Yinga dance and burning the dragon.
These are intense, high-energy traditions. And for those who haven't seen a Yinga dance, we really need to paint the picture.
Please do.
Okay, so imagine ancient Chinese martial arts meets street dance. You have performers with this elaborate, fierce, face paint-like opera masks, but painted directly on the skin.
Wow.
They're holding 2 wooden sticks, and they dance in formation, striking these sticks together. Clack, clack, clack.
So it's rhythmic, it's loud.
It's hypnotic, it's so loud. There are drums beating. It's this incredibly masculine, heroic energy. The whole point is to drive away evil spirits with sheer volume and force.
And people are flocking to see this.
They are, and not just to take photos, but to feel that vibration in their chests.
And burning the dragon, that sounds dangerous.
It's certainly spectacular. It involves fireworks and these huge dragon figures. The dragon dances through a shower of sparks. The vibe, as the source describes it, is all about getting a real taste of the culture.
Something you can't get through a screen.
You can't. You have to smell the smoke, hear the drums, and feel the heat of the fire.
It's so interesting. This is trending right alongside the digital stuff. It's like people are splitting into 2 camps. The hyper-modern and the hyper-traditional.
Or maybe it's about balance. You might burn electronic incense on the high-speed train ride to Kaohsiung to watch the dragon dance.
Ah, okay.
You use the tech to manage the stress so you can be fully present for the tradition.
That is a fascinating image. And it's not just performances, right? It's travel, too. The sources list Zhejiang, Kaifeng, and Huangshan.
These are destination cities. Zhejiang is famous for its lantern festivals, but we're not talking about a few lights strung up in a park.
No?
These are massive architectural light structures. Dragons the size of buildings, palaces made of light. It's incredible.
And Kaifeng, what's happening there?
Kaifeng has the Qingming Riverside Garden. It's basically a historical theme park where you step back in time to the Song Dynasty.
So immersive.
Totally immersive. People dress up, the staff dresses up, the architecture is all period accurate.
So it's like Westworld, but without the robots.
Hopefully without the robots.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the idea. And Huangshan has the fish lantern shows. The note here says these aren't just sightseeing trips. They are deep cultural meaning trips.
Right. So the travelers aren't just looking for a photo op, though I'm sure they get some amazing ones.
Oh, for sure.
They're looking for connection. They want to feel anchored in history. In a world that changes so fast, especially with AI and tech, standing in front of a giant lantern or watching an ancient dance makes you feel rooted.
Which leads us perfectly into the fashion aspect of this. Hanfu. Hanfu. We've touched on this in previous deep dives, but for anyone new, this is the traditional clothing of the Han Chinese. You know, the flowing robes, wide sleeves, intricate embroidery. And it has been a growing trend for a while, part of the Guochao or China chic movement. But in 2026, it's hitting a new peak.
And since 2026 is the year of the horse, the sources mention that that's specifically affecting the designs.
Right. We're seeing a lot of horse-themed designs. Specifically, the face skirt, or mamianquin, which is this traditional style of pleated skirt, is seeing a huge resurgence with horse motifs. But what's really interesting is the modern versions mentioned in the text.
How so? What does that mean?
It's not just historical reenactment anymore. It's not cosplay. It's fashion. People are mixing traditional cuts with modern fabrics. They're wearing a mamianquin with a white t-shirt and sneakers.
Oh, interesting.
They are wearing it to the office. They're wearing it to get coffee.
So it's not a costume, it's an outfit.
Exactly. It's a statement of identity. It says, I am modern, but I own my heritage. And that fits perfectly with that desire for heritage immersion. You aren't just watching the culture, you are wearing it.
I love that. Okay, moving on to trend 3. We've had the high tech, we've had the high culture. Now we have the practical. This is the light New Year.
Light as in lightweight, low burden, low stress.
Okay. The sources talk about redefining the dinner. Now, anyone who knows anything about Chinese New Year knows the reunion dinner, the Nianya fan, is the main event. It's legendary.
It is the absolute gravitational center of the holiday.
And it is so stressful.
Incredibly stressful. The cooking, the cleaning, the prep. Traditionally, you are spending days in the kitchen, chopping, boiling, frying. It is a marathon.
And that's the problem this trend addresses. The younger generation, and even the older generation, is realizing that spending 3 days in the kitchen leaves everyone exhausted. Yeah. By the time the food is on the table, the cook is too tired to even eat.
So what's the solution? The Light New Year calls for semi-finished meals. Pre-cooked dishes.
So the meal kit revolution finally hits the holidays.
Precisely. You can buy a high-end, restaurant-quality Buddha jumps over the wall soup or a braised pork elbow that just needs to be heated up. It allows you to have all the elaborate dishes without all the elaborate labor.
And the sources mention smaller, more casual gatherings too.
Yeah. The goal, as the source notes, is less time in the kitchen, more time chatting. It prioritizes the interaction over the performance of domesticity.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. The holiday should be about the people, not just the roast duck.
Perfectly put. And that logic, that prioritization of sanity over tradition, it extends to the travel patterns too. We're seeing reverse family reunions.
Okay, let's talk about the travel. Traditionally, the flow is everyone leaves the big cities. Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and goes back to the rural hometowns. It's the world's largest human migration. Chunyu.
It is logistical chaos. Train tickets sell out in seconds. Airports are just zoos. Traffic jams that last for hours.
But the reverse reunion flips that script. Parents are flying to the cities.
Yes, instead of the kids fighting their way back to the village, the parents are flying to Beijing or Shanghai.
Why? What's the thinking there?
Well, just think about the economics and the logistics. The trains leaving the cities are packed, but the flights coming into the cities are empty.
It's arbitrage. It's supply and demand.
It is. The tickets are cheaper, the airports are quieter, and once the parents arrive, they get to experience the big city when it's actually quiet. Beijing during Chinese New Year is famously empty. The traffic is just gone.
That sounds like a dream.
It is. They get to see where their children live, they get to see the modern city, and they can enjoy all the urban amenities without the rush hour nightmare.
That is so smart, so pragmatic.
It represents a shift towards logic. It maintains the core value being together, but it abandons the traditional method going home for the sake of comfort and sanity.
Right.
It's essentially saying home is where the family is, not necessarily where the ancestral house is.
I like it. It's hacking the holiday.
It really is.
Okay, finally, we have trend 4, and this one is for the people who are saying, you know what, I'm not cooking, I'm not going home, I'm not even staying in the country, I'm getting out of here. The Great Escape.
And this brings us right back to that longest holiday concept. Because people have more days off in 2026, long-distance travel becomes viable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you only have 5 days, you can't go far. If you have 10 or 12, the world is your oyster.
And they are going far. The
Yeah.
sources mention fire and ice. Let's start with the ice.
The Arctic Circle. Norway, Iceland, Finland.
That is a long way from China.
It is, but the goal is very specific. The Northern Lights.
The aurora.
Let's look at the colors here for a second. Traditionally, Chinese New Year is red. Red lanterns, red envelopes, red underwear for luck.
Red is fire. Red is life.
Exactly. But these travelers are trading the red for the green, the cosmic green of the aurora borealis.
That is poetic.
It is. And the sources frame it as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. But just think about the contrast in atmosphere. The traditional New Year is loud.
So loud.
Firecrackers, drums, shouting relatives. The Arctic experience is silent. It's vast. It's just you, the snow, and the magnetosphere.
It feels like the ultimate rebellion. I am going to the quietest, coldest place on Earth to escape the noise.
But, and here's the catch, they aren't necessarily doing it alone. The data shows many are taking their families. It's a grand tour.
Wait, they're dragging their elderly parents to the Arctic Circle?
Dragging is a harsh word, but yes, it's framed as a gift. If you have the longest holiday, you finally have the time to show your parents the world. So you see these photos of entire multi-generational families in puffy down jackets, looking up at the sky in Iceland. It's a new kind of reunion dinner. It just happens to be under the Northern Lights.
That is incredible. And on the flip side, we have the fire, or at least the heat,
Wow.
the southern hemisphere.
New Zealand is the top mention here.
Because when it's winter in the north, it's summer in the south.
Exactly. So instead of heavy coats, it's hiking shorts. Instead of sitting around a table, it's skydiving.
And the sources mentioned driving through landscapes. New Zealand is perfect for that.
It's about escaping the winter cold entirely. It's an active, adventurous way to start the year. It's reclaiming the holiday as a time for personal exploration, not just family obligation.
And for those staying closer to home, I mean, not everyone can fly to New Zealand.
Domestic innovation is huge. The sources highlight Shenyang and Urumqi.
These are cities known for their brutal winters.
Yes, but they aren't escaping it. They are leaning into it. They are combining ice sports with light and sound technology.
Creating a winter wonderland.
Exactly. It's not just a frozen lake anymore. It's a high-tech light show on ice. It brings us back to that theme of modernizing tradition. They are taking the natural resource ice and applying that 2026 tech layer to make it a new experience.
So we've gone from electronic wooden fish to skydiving in New Zealand.
It's a massive spectrum.
It really is. Let's do a quick recap of the board. We have the Cyber New Year, where AI helps you fight your auntie and you burn incense on your iPhone. We have Heritage Immersion, where people are painting their faces and watching dragon dances just to feel alive. We have the Light New Year, pre-cooked meals and parents flying to the city to hack the traffic.
Right.
And we have the Great Escape chasing the Aurora and the Kiwi Summer.
It's diverse, it's tech-heavy, and it's very pragmatic.
So here's where it gets really interesting for me. Despite all these changes, despite the fact that someone might be sending a digital game skin while sitting in an airport in Norway, is it still Chinese New Year?
I think so. In fact, I'd argue it's more Chinese New Year than ever.
How so? Explain that.
Because the tradition has always been about survival and adaptation. If we synthesize all this, the methods have completely modernized, but the spirit. The desire to connect with family, even if they fly to you, the desire to relax and reset, even if it's via an app, and the desire to hope for a good year ahead, even if you're skydiving into it, that remains the same.
It's about family, fun, and new experiences. The container changes. It might be an iPhone or a plane ticket, but the contents are consistent.
Precisely. And it raises a really important question for everyone listening.
What's that?
In a world where you can burn digital incense and have AI talk to your relatives, what actually defines a tradition? Is it the action itself, the lighting of the match, the chopping of the vegetables?
Or is it the intent behind it?
Or is it the intent behind it?
That is something to chew on. If the intent is there, does the medium matter?
I'll let the listeners decide that one. But I think as long as people are making the effort to connect, the tradition is alive and well.
Well, on that note, we are going to wrap up this deep dive into the longest Chinese New Year of 2026. Whether you're burning real incense, tapping a screen, or watching the Northern Lights, we hope you found this fascinating.
Thanks for listening.
Catch you in the next deep dive.